it's Janet here. Hope you had a nice weekend. So today's Monday Live is going to be more of like a discussion. I'm basically going to be using PowerPoint slides to talk about the difference between Windows 10, Windows 11, and Windows 365. So if you're a Windows user, you're going to start hearing about these things. So I want you to know the difference and know which one you might actually want to use. Some of you, if you have older computers, may just stay with plain Windows 10. So let's go ahead and get started with the slides. So I'll do just a quick little reminder on where you can see our upcoming Windows Live class or events. And so you just go to virtualinstructor.com and you'll see there's a big area here, Monday Live Events Calendar. So just so you know what's coming up, next week, I'm going to talk about drawing tables. So if you're using, doesn't matter if you're a Mac or a PC user, if you use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, I'm going to show you how you can draw tables. It's kind of cool because if you just use a regular table, you're kind of stuck pretty much with like columns and rows unless you know a few little extra tricks. So I'll show you how to use that. So that's kind of cool. Then on August 23rd, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite software tools called Snagit. And it's like a snippet. It's a snippet tool, but it does so much more. So I'll show you, and that'll go back into a demo mode. And then on August 30th, I'm going to demonstrate how to use Paste Special, which it's going to be the same concept whether you're using Excel or Google Sheets. And then on Labor Day, if you feel like popping in for about 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how to use graphics with Word. So you probably know some basic ones, but I'll show you some fancier stuff. All right, enough about that. Let's get into the topic for the day, which is what's the difference between Windows 10, Windows 365, and Windows 11. All right, it's kind of dry and boring topic, but I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible. But again, if you're a Windows user, you're probably going to want to know the difference and whether or not you need one of these. All righty. So Windows 365 was announced a few weeks ago, and it became available on August 2nd. And so they're kind of saying, hey, it's Windows in the cloud. Well, let's talk about what it really is. So Windows 365 is really an internet computer. So it's a cloud computer is what they're telling you. So you'll be hearing. So it runs on any computer because the actual processing and everything is done in the clouds, which means you have to have an internet connection. So first thing you need to know is if you're going to be switching over to Windows 365, you need an internet connection because everything, the whole PC, the whole computer, everything is run in the cloud. And that's why, so you're going to log in just like you would to some other website. That's why you can run Windows 365 on a Mac, because all you're doing is going to a browser and connecting to your cloud PC. And so updates, everything is done in the cloud. So it's not done on any of your devices. So you can run Windows 365 and any of your software programs that you have associated and loaded up on your Windows 365 cloud PC. You can run it on any device because it's not really being run on the device. The device is just being used to connect you to the internet so you can connect to your cloud computer. So hopefully that's not too techie. If you go on YouTube, there's lots of videos out there that are describing this in a little more techie description. But just so you know, Windows 365 is not an upgrade for your Windows 10. It's actually a cloud PC. They don't call it a cloud PC. They call it Windows 365. So hopefully I haven't confused you too much. But now, who would Windows 365 be for? Well, it's primarily for businesses. And they've got a business and they also have an enterprise option. And I'll show you a little bit about some pricing in just a second. But if you have an older computer, let's say you have a laptop and you're like, I love my laptop. It's been a really good little laptop. It's been working with me for a while. Probably not going to, I mean, you can use it on tablets and stuff too, but mainly let's say you have an older laptop. Well, if you have an older laptop, maybe you don't want to spend the money to go get newer laptop. So you could purchase Windows 365. And I'll show you the purchasing in a little bit. the pricing because it's a monthly basis. It's actually a subscription. Okay. Now, the other thing is, let's say you're a business and you have a bunch of older laptops that everybody's using. Seems to be working all right, but you really don't want to go through the expense of upgrading everybody's laptop. So that's another reason why you might use 365 for your business. Another reason is if your business, maybe you're a construction business and your laptops get damaged periodically, because they're out in the field, and you get tired of having to spend all the money to replace it. Plus, what if it gets stolen? You worry about all the data on it. Well, again, remember, if you're using Windows 365, everything is on the cloud. So if somebody gets your computer or it gets damaged, it's not affecting what's up on the 365. Everything is stored up on the cloud PC. So that's one thing for older computers, or if you think your computers might be getting damaged and that sort of thing. So you can save money by getting, less expensive computers and then just running it on 365. All right, another one might be, I know some businesses where the majority of the people are running PCs, but some of the people are using Mac. Well, you can actually run the Microsoft PC version on a Mac by using your Windows 365. Now, you probably want, if you want the actual like desktop version of it, there's something called the hybrid that you'd have to do. We're not going to go into all that techie stuff. You can look into it. But it typically, if you're a Mac user, you probably already know this, that typically Microsoft upgrades or updates their PC versions before they update the Mac versions. So if you're learning how to use something on the Mac and you're watching a PC video or taking a PC class, a few of the things are slightly different. So that might be another reason you might possibly think about if your business going to 365. All right. And another reason might be if you have a lot of remote workers and your IT department, it doesn't want to have to go out to everybody's place to update their laptops or their PCs. You can, just like if you were in the office, it's easier to do the updates through the cloud or through Windows 365. So those are some reasons that you might want to think about Windows 365 if you're a business. Okay, now let's talk about who is Windows 364 not for. Okay, if you're an individual, I don't recommend it. I'm not going to go to Windows 365. I have a small business, but yeah, we rely on more the desktop versions, and we all have decent computers. So I'm not worried about us having older computers. It's anyone who has newer computers. Now, I'm going to say some of our systems are just a couple years old, but still, they'll be considered newer when you see these little specs I'm going to show you in a second. So if you have relatively newer computers, I think you're going to be happier staying with your computer and just connecting to the internet when you need to. But if for some reason you don't have access to the internet, you can still run whatever programs you need from your computer or your laptop. And I think it's really not for anybody who primarily works at home, like you have your system at your home or at the office, because again, you're not really going out places. You're not worrying about dropping your computer, that sort of thing. So most likely Windows 365 is really for more businesses and also enterprise systems. So let's talk a little bit about pricing. Now, this is kind of a little overwhelming, this screen. And if you want to see all the pricing, this is most of it. But if you want to see all the pricing, I have the link down there, or simply Google Windows 365 pricing. So, but it's pretty expensive. It's not like a super great deal. So you got to, I just want to make sure people are aware that Windows 365 is really purchasing a cloud PC. And so then you have to decide, well, how much RAM do you need? Well, the very first one is 2 gig of RAM. That's like hardly anything, right? So I have, my system is a 64 gig, but I have some 16 gig. We have 16 and 32 for our people. And it gets kind of pricey. So if you were really going to need a faster computer, and I don't get any money from Costco on this one, but I purchased, most of my systems are purchased from Costco. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike other places that usually only give you like 2 weeks to test something out, Costco gives you 90 days. So 2 weeks is not enough time to know if that system is really going to run all the programs you want and has all the features you want. 90 days gives you a much better chance. Also, if you happen to get a lemon, which usually you don't, but you can return it and get a new system. So I just want you to be aware that Windows 365, again, when you hear it being advertised and everything, realize that you are actually purchasing a PC. It's just in the cloud. So again, one of the other things is to make sure that you're aware that it's in the cloud. So you have to have internet connection. Now there is a slight caveat. I'm not going to go into it, but again, you can, see lots of videos on YouTube and stuff. There is what's called a hybrid pricing that's a little less expensive, but you do have to have Windows 10 Professional in order to get the hybrid pricing. All right, that was a lot of techie stuff, but hopefully you can see that you want to really do your research to see if Windows 365 is the right fit for your company. Again, if you're an individual, I think you might want to price just getting your own system. All righty, so now Windows 10 is what we're all pretty much using if you're on a PC, right? But you may also hear that Windows 11 is on its way. Well, Windows 11 is going to be a free upgrade. However, if you have a really old system, probably not going to be able to run it. So you'll have to stay on Windows 10. But if you have a relatively new system, then you'll be able to run Windows 11. And basically, it's for 64-bit processors, which most people have nowadays. Requires a minimum of 4 gig of RAM and a minimum of 64 gig of storage. Yeah, most people have more than that. Now, it does have to support this thing called Trusted Platform Module. And I was like, well, how do I tell that? All you go do is go to Google and Google it, and you're going to see how easy it is to be able to see if your system supports that, which again, if you got it in the last couple of years, I think you're probably pretty safe. But I did put down here the URL in case you want to go check out some more of the specifications. So Windows 11, right now it's not out, and they say it's going to be released during the holiday season. So I'm guessing the holiday season is November or December. So we'll learn more about that. But hopefully this is giving you some ideas. So if you hear Windows 10, Windows 11, or Windows 365, that at least you have a clue on what they're talking about. All righty. So, I went a little ahead of my slides. So again, with Windows 11, it's got a cleaner look. It looks a little bit more like a Mac. And you can actually find some videos out there on YouTube that show you a little bit about the Windows 11. And one thing that's kind of cool is if you use any of the Android apps, you can it'll be integrated with the Android app. So you can have them right on your system. So that's kind of a neat thing. And they've kind of rearranged the look and display of the icons. Some of the things they're bringing back, some of the things that were around in earlier versions of Windows that they deprecated or got rid of, and now they're bringing it back. So that's kind of cool. And Windows 11 will be integrated with Microsoft Teams. So it comes with Teams. And so if you haven't used Teams yet, it's actually pretty slick. I like it for storing files and sharing files with my team and that sort of thing. So that's what's new. That's just a little bit of what's new with Windows 11. All righty. So one last thing before I say goodbye. If you're enjoying these Monday lives and you want a little reminder, you want to recap. So today, if you want a recap of all those little things I talked about between the difference between Windows 10, Windows 11, and Windows 365, then you can sign up here. And after each Windows Live, I send out a recap of what was talked about. And then we'll also send out a reminder of the upcoming ones. We won't bombard you with a bunch of emails. So just to remind you, coming up next week, I'm going to talk about drawing tables in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Really fun, easy way to do that. So if you're not aware of it, it's kind of fun. You can do some fancy things with little work. Then on August 23rd, I'll talk about Snagit. Great program. They do, of course, have a 30-day free trial. I've been using it for years. They do have a multi-user. We have it for our people. And then on the 30th, I'll talk about Paste special features or options that can be used in Google Sheets as well as Microsoft Excel. And then if you want to join me on Labor Day for about 15 minutes, I'm going to show you some kind of fun little tricks with using graphics in Word. Alrighty, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks again for joining me on the live. Talk to you later. Bye.